Well, I for sure wasn't thinking this was something I was going to stick with very long, because I don't think that was, like, no one thought that way about models at the time.
She once walked the biggest runways for the biggest fashion houses and became a global icon. But now, at 60, she shares the shocking truths about the supermodel era, an era that gave her fame, but exacted a personal toll. You won't believe what she reveals about the price of success.
And he set me on this path, and I somehow, I mean, it's a long story, but ended up, in New York and on the cover of Vogue, and it was like wild ride.
Truth number 7. The lessons from 3 decades. Reflecting on her 3-decade-long career, Cindy Crawford has learned a great deal about success and self-worth. Her advice to young models today would differ from the guidance she received early on. She emphasizes that modeling should not define one's entire identity, as it's not a career that lasts forever. Crawford encourages young women to diversify their interests beyond the runway. She underscores the importance of trusting one's instincts, particularly when something doesn't feel right in the industry. Early in her career, Crawford faced moments of compromise but learned to trust her gut. Truth number 6. The supermodel designation and its weight. The 1980s saw the rise of the supermodel, a term that transcended fashion and made models like Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, and Linda Evangelista global celebrities. Models in this category were expected to do more than simply look good on camera. They were expected to have unique personalities that resonated with the public. For Crawford, this was a double-edged sword. She had to be constantly on and manage her public persona while maintaining authenticity. This added pressure meant not only keeping up appearances but constantly being engaging and approachable in front of the public. The concept of a supermodel created both opportunities and tensions. While the industry saw it as a sisterhood, there was also an underlying competitiveness. With each new season came fresh faces, and the fear of being replaced was constant. Despite this pressure, Crawford has fond memories of the collaborations she shared with her fellow supermodels. Yet she also knew the competition was fierce. The supermodel era came with enormous pressure but also immense rewards. Truth number 5. Staying relevant across decades. Cindy Crawford retired from runway modeling in 2000 at the age of 34, but unlike many models, she managed to build a lasting brand. She launched Meaningful Beauty, a skincare line that earned over $200 million by 2015. In addition, her furniture line expanded her influence beyond fashion. Crawford realized that the modeling industry changes rapidly and that she had to evolve with it. She couldn't continue doing at 50 what she did at 25. Instead of holding on to her supermodel image, she embraced her evolution and transitioned into entrepreneurship. Crawford acknowledges the importance of staying relevant, especially as fashion trends constantly change and new faces emerge. She gracefully navigated her 50s, showing the world that supermodels could evolve into entrepreneurs. By creating and expanding her brand, she secured a new chapter in her life that was less about physical appearance and more about creating long-term ventures. Crawford has proven that even after modeling, one can continue to succeed by embracing change. Truth number 4. The challenge of balancing career and family. Crawford's career as a supermodel required long hours and constant travel, making it difficult to balance family life. She married actor Richard Gere in 1991, and though they divorced in 1995, she found love again with businessman Randa Gerber, marrying him in 1998. Together, they have 2 children, Presley and Kaya. While Crawford was deeply committed to her career, she also recognized the importance of being present for her children. Balancing her career and family life was challenging, especially when work commitments meant missing milestones like school plays or bedtimes. Crawford admits that this caused her guilt, but she also acknowledges that her children were well cared for during these times. Finding a balance between being a dedicated mother and a successful professional was not easy, but she managed to maintain both aspects of her life. Despite the emotional cost of not always being present, she appreciated the financial stability her career provided, allowing her to continue working and raising her children simultaneously. Truth number 3: the hidden costs behind the success. Cindy Crawford's financial success was a defining part of her modeling career. In 1995, she earned $6.5 million, making her one of the highest-paid models of the year. However, despite the monetary rewards, Crawford has been open about the hidden costs behind that success. One of the most significant pressures was the psychological toll of constantly being judged on her appearance. She faced the constant pressure to look perfect, and even the slightest imperfection could jeopardize her bookings. This led to an ongoing sense of self-doubt, even when she was at the height of her career. Despite earning millions, Crawford often struggled with insecurity, comparing herself to other models who seemed to have better bodies or looks. The idea of perfection was never fully attainable, and this left her with anxiety about her place in the industry. The travel that came with the job took a toll on her health as well. Long hours and constant jet lag led to exhaustion, and there were times when she worked through illness because the pressure of canceling shoots could harm her reputation. She pushed her body beyond its limits in a world where saying no was not an option. This pressure, compounded with the uncomfortable situations she faced in her early career, revealed the darker side of the modeling industry. She learned the hard way that there were moments when she did things that weren't comfortable because she didn't understand her own power to say no. These experiences, while not unique to her, made her realize that the cost of fame went far beyond financial compensation. Truth number 2: the standards and physical demands. Cindy Crawford's body was her career, and maintaining it required discipline. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall and maintaining a weight of 125 to 135 pounds, she worked hard to keep her measurements within industry standards. She exercised daily and was highly conscious of what she ate. Modeling was not just about looking good for the camera. It was about maintaining a specific body type that was coveted by designers and brands. Her measurements of 34, 26, 34 became the standard that many other models tried to achieve. But even with natural good genetics, maintaining that look required constant work. And she found herself facing pressure to lose weight even when she was already within the acceptable range. These standards were unrealistic for many, but Cindy adhered to them, often at the expense of her health. The physical toll of being a supermodel was also significant. Injuries, exhaustion, and long hours on shoots took a physical toll. She would often experience back pain from holding poses for extended periods and had sprained her ankle several times from walking in high heels. The long hours spent in hair and makeup sometimes meant starting shoots at dawn and ending late into the night, all while maintaining a perfect image. The demands of the job, combined with the constant pressure to look flawless, meant that Cindy Crawford's body was both her strength and her greatest challenge. Truth number 1: the reality of instant global recognition. Cindy Crawford's rise to fame was swift, and it came with a level of global recognition that few had ever experienced. Within just 3 years, she went from regional modeling to being a household name, thanks to her success on magazine covers and high-profile campaigns. However, the speed of her rise left little time for adjustment, and the fame that came with it was overwhelming. One moment, she was an anonymous young woman in Chicago, and the next, her face was everywhere. Her Pepsi commercial during the 1992 Super Bowl made her recognizable to millions of people who had never even seen her in a magazine. But this fame was not without its challenges. As the world's top models competed for the spotlight, Cindy was not immune to the pressures that came with such fame. She worked tirelessly to maintain her status in an industry where the next big thing was always around the corner. She flew between cities for multiple runway shows in a single day, rarely having time to rest. Despite the public's perception of glamour and luxury, the reality was that Cindy Crawford worked harder than most, juggling constant travel, demanding photo shoots, and a need to stay ahead in a cutthroat industry. The price of that fame was not just financial, but emotional and physical, and it shaped her career for years to come.